Today I'm going to be getting the Platinum Trophy for the Red Dead Redemption Remaster. This overpriced piece of junk came out a few weeks ago and people were extremely pissed off at it because it cost $50 and literally added nothing. And the only new addition they added into it was actually them taking away the online play for it. Now this does help the trophy grind out a tad bit, but now you have to do the entire Undead Nightmare DLC instead of the online trophies. Anyways, the game consists of 52 trophies and some of the most tedious and luck-based things I've ever seen in my entire life. Also, there is lots of bugs within the game, which makes me laugh so much since Rockstar really just didn't give a single crap to fix them within the re-release.
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
You begin the journey as John Marston, an outlaw who was sent by the government to the Wild West in order to take out all of his ex-gang members. In return, he gets to see his wife and kids again. The most normal old cowboy named Jake takes you to Fort Mercer, and John sees basically the game's main villain for the first time, who is named Bill. A truly devastating name for such an evil soul. John ends up not seeing anymore, and he gets shot right away in the face, and we have an amazing start to this piece of trash. Also, we got a trophy for the first mission. Some baddie saved us, and Lord have mercy, she is more fine than 99% of the girls in your local area. It's truly a shame that John is a so-called wife, but he is a loyal man, and they never do anything on camera, that is. Her name is Bonnie, and her entire questline in this game literally consists of you doing farm chores for her and her farm. I kind of went a little bit insane after herding horses and shooting rabbits for the 14th time in one day, but then again, I was already a little bit off the spectrum to begin with. You have to race Bonnie, and I'm not gonna lie, I was confused on how the horses work at first, so I lost, and I genuinely feel ashamed, but I did get a good view from behind, so it's okay. We meet the next main questline of the game, and it's this sheriff dude who makes us help him and his boys take out a ton of gangs within the game's story. And we also get to meet some old dude who sells this elixir he claims will heal everything. So basically, he's just a giant scammer because the only thing that can truly heal everything is a bad booty bitch who is loyal. But anyways, he actually plays a huge part of this game and eventually takes us to Mexico with him so we can continue on with the story once we finish up with America's missions. I didn't get a trophy in this game for 5 hours straight because it was basically just introducing us to a lot of things and places. But eventually I got another one after the whole jolly squad of disposable side characters break into Fort Mercer and try to capture Bill. But shocker, he wasn't there since that would have been too easy and the plot needed some more diversity in it anyway, since there isn't any colored folk on our team. We end up being forced onto a raft with this absolutely deranged soul named Irish, who was more of a scammer than Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo was. The dude would literally sell us out faster than even my ex would. Anyways, we get this super boring mission, which is way longer than it needs to be. You literally just float down a river with no sail or motor and fight enemies here and there who are on the side of the river's bank. But we finally made it to land, and this son of a bitch goes and grabs the horse's schlong, and Lord have mercy, I just couldn't believe what I saw. Then again, Rockstar Games has been known to spoil the minds of young men all around the world, so I'm not surprised. The Mexican storyline has you go and team up with a local warlord kind of dude. He really isn't to be trusted, but poor little John will go anywhere his heart tells him, so he couldn't help himself. You end up having drinks with the boys, and then you get your first Mexican mission, which involves you stopping a bunch of so-called rebels from doing rebellious things as they do. The mission involves you escorting a train, and it's actually a load of fun, but I'm shocked it took this game 6 hours to give us a train mission, seeing as it is literally set in the Wild West, but it's whatever. After finishing that, you and the boys go and party like usual, and we get this cutscene literally 2 minutes after the mission, and apparently the rebels are back already, which seems insanely fast, but okay, since it wouldn't be a PS3 game without a few plot holes in it. Again, we have a mission with this damn train, but this time it's a lot more difficult, and you have to take out all the enemies on the train, and then once you're done with that, you have to jump on it and try to stop it before it crashes and everyone dies. Somehow, some way, this thing's 1907 brakes actually worked good, and the thing didn't crash right into the river. But the bridge is now broken, and it'll be years before we can take it anywhere anyways. So I don't even know who the real winner is here, but I know damn well it isn't the taxpayers. John ends up getting held up by 3 locals in the middle of some city, and after talking about having a gay orgy with each other, John mentions he isn't into all that Christina type beat, so he just shoots them all and commits many counts of murder and manslaughter. But it's okay because this old man saw it and he finally got it up after years of trying. Also, he is a so-called legend, and we have to do lots of missions with him, which all don't give a trophy, but are required anyways. So basically, I cried myself to sleep last night. At one point, we even just played cards with him, and it was super wholesome. John probably loved finally having a father figure in his life after so many years of waiting for his dad to come back with the milk. But the wholesome times end very fast when this bald man who is compensating with that giant mustache claims we are cheating. Even though I don't even know how to play cards. There's a giant standoff, and then we even get the duel for the first time. I won. After 3 hours of doing a ton of side quests, we get to finally do a big boy main quest. And after having a little talk with our so-called Mexican warlord friend, he takes us to a church and claims to have captured some of our old gang members. who John needs to kill for his mission of reclaiming that pussy. But like all things in life, it's a major disappointment, and all the Mexicans turn on poor John and knock him out. He wakes up and is about to enter the afterlife with my dead relatives and soul. But out of nowhere, a bullet comes flying in, and it's help from the rebels who I made friends with earlier because I had to do that entire quest line. John runs around for a few minutes, super embarrassingly with his hands tied, in order to get to Reyes so he can be set free. And after that, it's basically game over for all the mean Mexicans who touched us in our sleep, since we just go and kill them all. During this big fight, I also got some random trophy for not using aim assist and getting a headshot. Gotta love how that was supposed to be hard back in 1976 when this game first released. After that, I barged into this room with 2 men in it, and I don't want to know what was going on before this, so I just put them down without any questions. You get to watch Reyes have a super uplifting speech to all of his sheep followers, and then finally get another story trophy. This game's trophy list reminds me a lot about my dating life. Absolutely nothing happens for a super long time, and I'm just sat there waiting and waiting until finally a girl messages me, or in this case, I get a trophy. After that whole ordeal, I wandered upon my first ever gang hideout in this game, since I had been mostly just fast traveling everywhere up to this point and hadn't really explored too much, if I'm being honest. These are literally just a few buildings absolutely packed full of enemies that you have to eliminate with the help of like one dude who just sits behind a rock the whole time. I also discovered the hard way that if John even so much as dips his little toes in the water of Red Dead Redemption, he will cease to exist and die immediately. I guess he just can't swim. We all have our downfalls. Mine is being too damn sexy. I did my first stranger side quest thing for a trophy also. We end up on a mission where John is about to finally capture one of his ex-gang members named Escuela. And after fighting for a little bit, he runs up on him, and this son of a bitch is such a little rat, he just dips out the window after shoving a box in front of us. This amount of betrayal felt so much like a relationship I was in last year. But anyways, we chase him down since he isn't very fast, and that sombrero must have some crazy wind resistance on it. And it's also a sign of major compensation for a small wiener. I decided not to murder him because I felt bad for him already, and I was also trying to turn a new page in my life and fight for good for once. So we threw his ass in jail and finally got to link up with the government boys that are hanging John's wife and kids over his head at all times. After a super serious conversation which I didn't listen to, the game gave us another trophy because we gave them the dude we just captured. Reyes and John end up going after the other guy who betrayed John a few minutes ago, and the dude is such a little bitch, he even tries to sell himself out at the last moment by threatening to kill the dude he took with him. Sadly, I gave up on this new life of fighting for the good, and I killed both of them like a silly goose. This also eliminated all the major Mexican war leaders for the time being, and now Reyes is in charge as he so proclaims. I got a trophy for this completion of another major story mission. Before John can get his family back, the government boys want him to take down Dutch, who was the gang's leader John was a part of in his past life. And Dutch isn't an idiot like all the other ones, so he won't be an easy takedown. In fact, he must have the spidey sense or something because he just bops John in the head almost immediately after he spots him with his binoculars. A major setback, yes, but we got a trophy for nearly dying again, so I can't complain. John has lots of ops in this gang warfare so far and ends up being chased yet again by a bunch of evil men on horses. But this is seriously just the most normal afternoon for him, and I ended up finally getting 500 kills with rifles for a trophy. We end up trying to go get Dutch again, and I farmed headshots this time. And to be honest, I sort of have been doing this the entire game, but I got the 250 kill trophy right here. I got confused like always, and I ended up dying twice right at the climax of one of the game's best missions, which was a super big turnoff. Almost like when she has a penis. Such a plot twist. Eventually I made it to Dutch, and in this boss fight he gets a giant machine gun, while all we get is our cock in our hands. But all you have to do is shoot the one lantern next to him so it all gets set on fire, and it turns into nothing but a chase after that. After playing with my emotions like she does every day, we finally corner him and Dutch has nowhere to go. Sadly, John doesn't have the balls to kill Dutch, much like how I don't have the balls to text her again. Luckily though, Dutch has mental health issues and he jumps off the edge anyways, so he did our job for us. After the government boys mutilate his corpse like some necrophilia enthusiasts, they give us a trophy, and we are finally allowed to go see John's family. Shocker, they actually do exist, but I wasn't happy at all since Bonnie is way hotter than his wife. Also, you get missions from like Jack and his uncle or something. They were complete ass, and pretty much just consisted of doing farm chores, and I sort of went a little bit crazy doing this. So, in all honesty, I just sped through all the missions with his son and uncle or whatever. I don't even know who these people are. But we ended up on the final mission of the game, and the government boys come back like they always do and actually just kill the out of John, which was super unexpected if I'm being honest. And he actually died. Like, legitimately, he's gone. He's not even part of the game anymore. You then get to play as his son Jack and take John's wife by horseback to go see her dead-ass husband. A flashback happens after she gets done crying, and you play as John's son Jack years in the future after his balls dropped and both his parents died. And that is the end of the main storyline. But there is a true ending which requires you you to go talk to some dude in Blackwater, and he gives you the location of the government man who killed your dad. So you go confront the dude, and honestly, he was just doing his job, but low-key, he probably deserved to die, and Jack kills him after you do a duel. Now, this is the actual ending to the main story, and you get some credits with a trophy added on to top you off. At this point, the fun for this game's trophy list officially ends, and now you have to go do a load of pointless-ass objectives that suck more than your mother did in her college years, if that's even possible. The first trophy I went after was to get a 2,000 bet win on poker, which is a lot harder than it sounds since you have to get lucky 4 rounds in a row. I had to retry this a total of 7 times to get it, which involved doing a full reset and closing of the game, so I wouldn't just lose all my money. I finally got it after just being lucky, and I honestly despise games that have luck trophies. Like, it's up there with my top 5 most things I hate, right next to Lizzo. And since we were on gambling trophies with luck, I decided to go do Liar's Dice trophies next. This one was actually fun, even though I spent like 30 minutes trying to do it, because you yet again need to get somewhat lucky. I think I might have a gambling addiction that is dormant right now since I've never gambled before, but I low-key wanted to keep playing this even after I got the trophy for it, which required you to have a perfect game. Next, I had to get a ringer and horseshoes, which wasn't very hard, but I did get super close a few times before doing it, and my balls shrunk a tad bit. I bought my first rare weapon, which is basically just an overpriced piece of junk from the bald gunman. I also went and did every gang hideout, which wasn't very difficult since they are all basically the same thing, and you just walk around popping heads off like the most normal girl at a party. The trophies for these are split into numerous ones, and I got a total of 3 once it was all said and done. I'm not sure why they didn't just lump them all together, but it's whatever, I guess. I then went and did a funny trophy where you have to knock out an NPC in every saloon in the game's story. This was sort of bugged, but I got it after just redoing them all multiple times. However, I did get afraid it wouldn't work, and I would lose the platinum trophy to this stupid-ass thing. Next, I redeemed my American heritage by completely exterminating an entire species of buffalo, truly finding my manifest destiny after all. I also did 15 side quest things, which I couldn't tell you a single plot point for any of them since I just skipped all the dialogue because I simply don't care after seeing a man grasp a horse penis in this game. I don't know how it could get any worse. Then I went and broke this horse for a big challenge that had 3 of them for whatever reason, and I decided to finally attempt some of the bounties in this game, which are one of the most tedious tasks you have to do. And on my first one, I captured him alive for a trophy, but also since it gives you like double the money so the prisoners can have fun with him. And I did one of the most funny trophies I've ever seen in the game. You have to hog tie a woman and then just throw her onto the tracks and watch as she gets run over. It honestly can't get any better than this, and it didn't. Throughout this game, I've also been grinding bear kills whenever possible, and if you want to see me truly suffer through some of these trophies, I will be posting more in-depth platinum videos on my other 2 channels where it focuses a lot more on the objectives rather than me just making jokes about it all. Anyways, I bought the elegant suit, which was a trophy. After that, I looked up all the treasure locations in the game and got a trophy for that also. Barely legal. This trophy was the absolute death of me for hours upon hours. Red Dead Redemption has one of the worst spawning mechanics of animals and NPCs I've ever seen in my life, and it blows my mind that people don't talk about it. But I guess seeing as the game came out over a decade ago, nobody really cares anymore. Anyways, you have to kill and skin 18 bears in the game, which sounds easy enough, but you also can't die a single time while doing it because it will erase all of your progress. I got the trophy, and that shouldn't even have been legal, like it's literally emotional warfare. I also got a gold medal on a combat mission, which is kind of sad because I didn't get any while playing the game the first time. Then I went and sold a ton of items I had collected throughout the game and topped off the $10,000 earned trophy, which was actually cumulative, making this not bad at all. I then bought some location maps and discovered the entirety of this ass game's locations, which has way too many. Next, I decided to grind out the wanted trophies. There are 2 of them, and one just requires you to escape a super high wanted level with the white horse in this game. Low-key racist, but it's okay. And the next requires you to get a $5,000 bounty and use the pardon letter, which I got by farming murder on civilians. They just kept on spawning back after I killed them, so I wasn't complaining. One of the longest trophies in the game I went for is called Unnatural Selection. It requires you to kill every single animal type in the game, which is absolutely agonizing since the game yet again has super bad spawns and sometimes the animals just won't be there, even when they're supposed to be. And I swear to God, I would find them at the most random times when I wasn't even looking for them, but the second I actually tried to find one, they wouldn't be there. I did get it though, and at this point I was seriously done with this scam of a game and trophy list. After that, I got max fame in the game, which wasn't really a challenge since everything you do for trophies also gives you fame pretty much most of the time. Redeemed. This is the hardest trophy in Red Dead Redemption. Its description is very simple, 100% the game. Now this sounds very direct, but it fails to tell you that you will undergo hours upon hours of aimless wandering, waiting and praying for a goddamn animal to spawn in so you can kill it for these stupid ass combat challenges that are a part of the 100%. I legit spent 5 hours straight trying to do these dumb combat challenges with animals, and it actually broke my soul. Like, I've done some dumbass things for games before, but this just hurts because it like plays with your emotions, just like my ex-girlfriend did. I ended up giving up on this for a little while, leaving it off at like 95% and going over to Undead Nightmare to do all of those trophies since I thought that it would be easier. And at first, It was. And I got basically all the trophies in it aside from the 100% completion and like 1 or 2 tedious trophies. But just like when you break up with a girl, it starts off easy and then turns into agony when you realize how hard it is without her. And right here is the one trophy that broke my game and is yet again making it impossible for me to get the platinum. In Undead Nightmare, there is 4 horses that are called undead, and they all have unique powers and looks to them. Yet again, they just spawn in at random times, and you have no idea when they're going to spawn in. All you have to do is get on one of them and break all of them to get progress on this challenge, which requires you to break all 4. I did the first 3 easily with no issues at all, but for whatever reason, the last horse I needed was called Famine, and I quite literally broke it multiple times off camera with no progress being given to that challenge. And here's a video of me sitting on the dumbass horse after breaking it, which it's supposed to trigger challenge 4 to be done with the Horses of Apocalypse. It didn't give me the challenge progress, and I don't know what to do. Like, I spent an hour running around the fields of Mexico aimlessly with no direction, trying to get a mythical creature to spawn in. All I needed was 1 horse, and I would literally get 3 trophy pops in a row and be done with Undead Nightmare, and then I would be able to just go over and finish the game off. But it just does not work, and I can't continue the challenge. I'm officially convinced whoever remastered this game at Rockstar did it completely by themselves in a closet, because it's still a broken piece of ass game. I apologize deeply for not getting the platinum for this game. I actually really wanted to, and it makes me mad just thinking about it, since I know I can do it so easily, but the game is just broken again. I keep on playing all these broken games and it's driving me crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I promise the next video I post I'll get the done platinum for whatever game it is. I'm going insane.